We give you food and everybody goes nuts. That's a good thing. Well, thank you for being here. Thank all of you for taking some time out of your morning and joining us as we do every month to try to recognize some special people, special things that are going on. And we always do that with our officers, employees of the month first. And we're going to do that first thing this morning. We're going to introduce you to our Employee of the Month for June 2023, Miss Keyaiera Miller. Will you stay right here? It says, in the ever-changing field of DCSO, challenges arise on both personal and professional levels. How individuals approach these challenges makes a significant difference. A positive attitude brings opportunities, while discontent leads to poor results. As Coach Tony Dungy wisely said, be positive. Your mind is more powerful than you think. What is down in the well comes up in a bucket. Fill yourself with positive things. Ms. Keyaiera Miller exemplifies this mindset. With staff placement at a premium within our department, Ms. Miller put in for a job opening and re-entry. She was awarded that position, which left us shorthanded in the batter's intervention program. She selflessly agreed to handle both roles with a positive attitude and no complaints. Her supervisor greatly appreciated her dedication, flexibility, and professionalism. Maya Angelou's quote, "Stand up straight and realize who you are, that you tower over your circumstances," perfectly describes Ms. Miller's steadfast commitment to this excellence in this agency. How about that? Great. Thank you very much. We get our picture made. Why are you so nervous? All right, hang on one second. All right, that's 8 hours of leave off. You get some leave. There's a coin, and there's our box, and you have a tumbler at your seat as well. So congratulations. Thank you very much. Mr. Scott Roberts wrote that. Very, very well done. I tell you, each month I get to spend some time before we come down here, and I love to hear how you got here. I love to figure out. I tell people we're misfits. If that offends you, I'm sorry. I don't know many people who grew up at 5 years old and said, let's go to work in the jail, so that's okay. Take a lot of pride in the fact that it's not how you got here, it's once you did, what we do. And Ms. Miller was telling me that many years ago, she wanted to be an intern or try to be an intern. We didn't have any money 20 plus years ago. And this man who we all grew to know, Bill Hampton, worked to try to get her to come here. I think he tricked her into coming, telling her we might pay her, but we couldn't once she got here, and stayed on as an intern. I was at by the way, Bag Ladies is a great place to eat. If you haven't been to Bag Ladies, fantastic. I was there last week, and some young lady walked over and said, hey, you remember me? I'm Bill Hampton's granddaughter. So super cool. But we're fortunate, 20 plus years later, Miss Miller is here and helping us, and I don't know why you're so nervous. They're trying to mess with you in the back. That's the problem. We don't know who your friends are until you get in here. So, all right. So our Officer of the Month for June 2023 is Miss Justin Fowler. Will you stay over here, please? Says Justin Fowler is someone who I believe is deserving of the badge that he wears. During the academy, he learned a lot, especially when it means to having someone else's back. Even during personal hardships, he kept striving forward and every day telling me how much he values being a part of the DCSO family and how great this agency is and it will continue to be. I'm nominating Officer Fowler for Employee of the Month due to his work ethic in keeping this agency safe, not only for the inmates in his units, but for the officers and everyone else. Officer Fowler has a drive to find contraband like no one else. I'm glad to be able to call him a part of my work family and call him my friend. I believe he has the potential to advance in far in the field of corrections. Thank you, Officer Fowler, for everything you do. Fantastic, by the way. There we go. We'll get our picture made here. There we go. In 1 second, we'll give you 8 hours of leave off. That's a credit card for that. There's a ribbon for your uniform and a pin to go well, and a tumbler at your station. Congratulations to you. Job well done. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm not supposed to have favorites. It gets me in trouble, but maybe one of the best answers I've ever had sitting up at a table talking to officers, Mr. Fowler said, this is the last uniform I ever want to wear. And really the interesting part of it is he has no idea how he ended up in this line of work. He came to work here from Virginia and was in security a little bit and said, I want to be something else. And like I said, it's hard to find good people. When you find them, you better keep them. And we need to keep Mr. Fowler. I'm telling you, he has a lot of potential to do great things, and hasn't graduated in February. And so when you ask him questions like, how's the FO program working for you? Instead of, the answers are pretty simple. They help me do my job. I'm trying to help them. And the people around me are who make this place work. So we need good people. We graduated some yesterday, 25, I believe it was. Hopefully we still have 25 this morning. But it's important to find good people. It's more important to keep them. And so I just hope, whether it's Mr. Fowler, and I appreciate taking the time to recognize him, but I ask you to do that. This program of Officer Employee of the Month started over 25 years ago. And the reality of it is it's peer-based. And what that really means is it's not about your supervisor or your buddy, really. It's about your peers that you work with, recognizing the work you do. And so it doesn't stop you from nominating someone clearly across the agency that just comes in and does a really, really good job. I've told this a bunch of times, but there was a lady who worked here 25 years ago, and I didn't even know she worked here. She hardly ever spoke, and she worked in HR, which is hard to imagine, isn't it, Byron? Is Byron here? Yeah, I'm talking about the part of never speaking. Byron is, he would have learned a lot from her, but he didn't. I don't know why. But the point is, this woman did her job every day and never really spoke. And Gail Hickman was her name. And somebody wrote this fantastic nomination that she came here every day. And maybe it was a sign of the people around that weren't quiet every day. I don't know. But the point of it is she did her work. And if that's what you want to recognize in one of your peers that does their work and doesn't need attention, great. If the person needs attention, great. I don't have a preference. But I do want you to stop and find that person who's doing their work. Ms. Miller, Mr. Fowler are great examples, perfect examples of what we're trying to do. But I need your help. I need you to find those people who are doing that. I'm going to keep saying this until you run me out of here. But it is a proven fact that you tell 10 people if you don't like a restaurant. You tell one if you like it. So what does that mean? You're going to tell 10 people who makes you mad at this place, and you oftentimes don't tell one when you find someone who's doing their job. I'm asking you to help me find the one. It's important that we stop every month and recognize the men and women who are doing good work. It's a part of keeping people, but it's also hopefully a way for us to stop and celebrate what they do. If you have my job, you won't worry about weird things. One of the things I worry about in today's climate is being accused of, as an agency, of spending money. It's just the way the government is. We get all sorts of challenges. There's food out there in the hallway. I'm sure I've never got to eat. Y'all eat it before I ever get down here. But we do it every month. We recognize, we give some small token of appreciation to the people that are doing their work. And here's the answer I want you to give anyone who ever asks you that. And I've never been asked it, but I'm waiting on the day when they say, what are you doing spending $15,000 a year on food for the people who work here? I'm going to say until we get rid of the discipline process, we're not going to get rid of the recognition process. And it costs money to discipline people, and it costs money to recognize people. And we should never stop doing that. And so I want your help to make sure that who we put on the wall matches Mr. Fowler and Ms. Miller every month. So please help me month by month as we go forward. One of the questions I asked Mr. Fowler was about our FO program, and I know you've heard about it. It grew organically out of a meeting with some officers who were concerned about the staffing in our agency. You don't have to go far to hear every place in the country is struggling to find employees, and this line of work is tough. So we too have had that challenge, and we met and we started talking about, what is it that recruits, what is it that attracts young people? I have a 29 and a 21-year-old son. If I told my 29-year-old, do you want a pension? He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't care about it. He hardly wants to sit through last night 4 episodes of a fantastic documentary that I tried to get him to watch. Right? Too long, too much, don't worry about it. What attracts somebody to come to work here is different than when I came here, which is a few years ago. My parents told me a lot about how government had a great pension and a great healthcare system and great benefits, and government's a good place to work. If I said that to my son, he looks cross-eyed at me. He wants instant gratification. He wants what you owe me now, right? Money, that's what they think. Now, he gets smarter, he just got married. I don't know if that's smart or not, but he just got married. And you get smarter as you get older because you're going to need benefits one day. You would like a pension one day, maybe. But what we wanted to do was start a program that allows people to come to work here part-time to help us fill posts, because there are people in this agency, in this community, who don't want to work forever, don't want to be here 30 years, don't want to work full-time, don't want a commitment of a solid week. Well, we need you. And so thanks to HR and training who've worked their tail off to get the program up and running, we're somewhere around 100 people today in the agency that are what we call FOs. They're fully trained correctional officers. They can do any job that anybody else does in corrections. I was asking Mr. Fowler that I said, how do you feel when you see an FO come in? Do you look down at them? Do you feel like they're not quite you because they didn't come the full way? He said, no. They look like us, they do like us, and we're all the same people. And that was the goal when we started it. So when you look in the facilities, hopefully whoever's working looks the same, they're trained the same, and they're ready to go to work. And so we started the program several years ago, and we got a group of FOs together and asked them what all would help them do their job. Some things were training related, some things were uniform related, some other things. But one of the asks was, can we get a badge? We don't give them badges when they get here. They're part-time people. They go through a short training program, then they go to work, and they work extensively. And so my thought was, after a year, if you've been an FO helping us for a year, proving yourself to not only be responsible as an employee, but helping us do our job, then we ought to stop and give them their badge. And so that's what we do every month now. And I'd like to ask our monthly, who've been here a year, FOs to step up. Miss Harbor, Miss Camosa, Mr. Camosa, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Scott, Miss Waddell. Oh, Miss Bowl, I'm sorry. There we go, first one, Miss Bowl. Hey, y'all come up here. Yeah, we got to get your right badge issued because they got a number on it, so don't let us just mess us up. Is this Miss Bowl? Miss Bowl. There we go. Miss Bowl, there's your badge. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Miss Harbor.
Miss Harbor, there's your badge. Thank you very much. Thank you for your work. We're going to get a picture made here in just a minute, so get ready. Get your smile ready.
Mr. Camosa.
Mr. Camosa, there's yours as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your work. Okay, Mr. Nicholson, thank you very much for your work. Appreciate you very much.
Mr. Scott.
There we go. Mr. Scott, thank you very much. Appreciate your work. Ms. Waddell, thank you very much. Appreciate your work as well. Let's scoot in here and get, where's Bossy? Watch him, he'll boss us around. Where you want us to be, Reggie, are we? There we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Yeah, when you look at the math, one of the fascinating things about the FO program, there are some FOs working more hours than the full-time people after a year's worth of work. A lot of that's because they don't have leave. Other folks can take leave, and obviously they're getting paid only when they're here to do their job. But if you take that picture and you look across the front of the room, we don't want them to look or feel any different. They're part of our family, and I hope the badge is just one more way to recognize your work. So thank you very, very much. Couple of issues that are kind of floating around. We're shifting the way we do uniforms in several ways. It'll take us a little while to roll this out. We're going to go to a different shirt, somewhat similar to what you're wearing. We're going to go to what, I promise you, when you see this, you're going to be excited. The badge that comes with it and the name plate and brass, so forth, is very, very real looking. Basically a plastic rubber looking material. It's not dangerous, but it looks better than the stuff we have to sew on. And it doesn't quite have the metal feel. So the badges will still be a part of your life, the metal one, but what you'll wear will look dramatically different. Chief Ford, have we started any rollout in the exterior? Okay. So all the divisions that report directly to Chief Ford are going to go first. And so if you just think about warrants and transportation, all the exterior functions, correctional services, they'll go first and go from the Class Bs that you have on now to a fancier looking Class B and the color will be the same, but a different look. And then ultimately we'll get all of that done in the corrections field. That's going to take us a while. We'll do everything outside of the jails first, including security, and then we'll go into the jails and do it, I suspect, over the next 6 to 8 months. A couple of other important parts of that, and it won't affect you directly, but you will be, your initial outfit of clothing will be done by us and not Greens moving forward. You'll go and get all your stuff basically through the warehouse. And so your initial installment of all the clothing will come directly from us. That'll help us reduce some overuse. We're changing some things in the policy. Chief Ford's heading all this up, but it gets down in the weeds. We're not going to issue Class A's to everyone. I think someone in our meeting classified it as like a wedding dress. You wear it once and hang it in the closet. We're going to have a Class A, but we're not going to issue it to everybody like we've been doing. It's a lot of money, and we're not using them as much as we think. So we will still graduate the classes. They'll still get Class A's, but beyond that, there's no other division that will get Class A's moving forward. And there's other things that we're tweaking. The policy's kind of old, and we needed to kind of refresh that. But more to come on that. It'll take us several months to get it rolled out. You'll still go to Greens for your allotment, but internal and the initial installment will come from us, and we'll work to make that happen here as we go. What else we got? Seems like there's several things. Chief Hudson, anything you want to? Chief Ford? I'm sorry? Yeah, so gosh, 2 or 3 weeks ago, on a weeknight, I forget which night it was, Mr. Runnels, who obviously works in our warrant division but is also on the SORT team, he was in the SORT exercise, and is 3D in here? We have a program called Father's Day Out where we basically take the inmate out of the jail, dress them in clothing, out away from the facilities, bring their kids, do homework, dinner, in a real life experience, not in jail uniform, not through the visitation windows. We've done that with moms for several years. We've started it with men through a grant program. And so when we do that, the SORT folks are helping us get the inmates to the location. They're in plain clothes, so to respect what we're trying to accomplish. So Mr. Runnels had completed that and was on his way home on Briley Parkway. There was a wreck on Briley Parkway right in front of what used to be Opryland Hotel. I don't know what we call it anymore. Right on that long stretch. And so there's a wreck still somewhere in the lane of traffic. He pulls over to assist and radioed Metro that there was a wreck. Got out of his car, walked up to check on the man and woman who were in the car, two different vehicles. And when he turns around, his car is hit full speed. Now, I've got pictures on my phone. You wouldn't believe it's amazing he lived. He was not in his vehicle when it was hit, or he wouldn't be alive, I don't think. And it threw him into the lane of traffic across the concrete median. So really an amazing night, terrible situation. His car caught fire, had all sorts of different things in it. He is going to be fine. His leg, I think, has got some problems with it, but he's going to be fine. But then he lost his dad yesterday. 2 days ago. And so need to remember him. And like I said, he's got a kind of a macho attitude, good guy, right? And I texted him and I said, hey, how are you doing? And he said, well, my leg's bothering me, my leg. I said, I don't worry about your leg. I said, how are you doing? And he said, this was in a text, and he said, I'm doing okay. And I said, I want you to go talk to somebody. I'm talking about the event on the interstate, on Briley. And it was kind of funny, and I said, I want you to go talk to somebody. And he said, is that a direct order? And I said, only if you refuse to do it. So, but he was in an extremely dangerous situation. And again, his dad passed away a couple days ago. So, so just remember that. We also lost Dan Weichel. A lot of you guys know Dan and worked here for many years. And just an incredibly sad situation for a mid-50s age person, and someone who invested a lot into this agency for many years, and Maybe it's my age, but it seems way too young to be talking about this kind of thing happening so often. But need to remember him and all the folks that are connected via here and other places. It's just a sad thing to have to think about. What else? Chief Ford, anything else? Chief Wilkes? We got a lot of different visitors coming through, a lot of things going on. Different agencies have been here, and I know a lot of you are seeing that as we go. We have Eric Bowder in the tour industry. Where's Eric? We still doing tours by the minute over in BCC, and but that's a good thing. That's good for us. So, Chief Weston. Yes, you need to go vote if you hadn't voted. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I don't care what the commercials say. You vote for who you want to vote for. But go vote if you live in the county. It matters. It does matter. And the reality of it is your voice matters to the people in the district you live in. And down the road, when you need raises and we need things or whatever, not me personally, but the agency, you represent a vote, and a vote in this community should matter. And I hope you'll take the time to do that. Look into who's important to you. We will, I promise you this, it will put a halt to a whole lot of things, no matter who's elected, because you're going to change over a whole lot of key figures, in getting things accomplished. We're right in the middle of a real kind of important conversation with the mayor's office and juvenile court about assisting them, and I don't mean overseeing it per se, but assisting juvenile and taking over the juveniles while they build the stadium. Now, we're not going to oversee the supervision of the person, but we may oversee a facility, i.e. a building, and let them have the keys and they come in and supervise the juveniles. But it's a lot of complicated matters to pull off. There's rumors that we may do ORC. I'm not sure if we will or not, but the point I'm making is this mayor and all the people who know what's going on are leaving here in a few weeks. And whoever you bring in to get caught up on something that significant, in the meantime they're tearing down the building you're in, is going to be a pretty tricky thing to pull off. So there's a lot going on. Anytime you have a mayor change, like them or not, or want the new one or not, it doesn't matter. It's just really, you'll have new finance, probably new legal directors, new everything. It's just going to be a slow process to get some of the things going that we need to. So just know that. Anybody else? I always forget and get upstairs. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to have a management meeting today, so for the rest of us, we're done for the day. Let's let our honorees and all of us, let's let them go first. Let's go get some food and fellowship. Have a great rest of your day. I appreciate your work.